All right, guys. So, our next unit that we're going to start involves three different pieces of artwork that we're going to make using something called two-point perspective, which is what you see in this picture. I've forgotten one line in this picture, so give me a second, and I'll explain what's happening. Go. All right, so two-point perspective is a way for artists to show three-dimensional objects on a two-dimensional space or piece of paper. Okay. It also shows us depth, as in things going back in space. Okay, and then surface versus background, and edges of items, things that are close versus further away. So, you see a number of things going on here. First thing is, look at these boxes, okay? So essentially, they have been turned so that the edge, which I'm going to write here, you don't have to write anything, is closest to the person if we were in this picture. Okay, so I'll label these with an E. All right. Then we have these lines that come from the top and the bottom of the edge, and they seem to go somewhere. Okay, now if you had Miss Bailyn last year or you had me last year, we talked about one-point perspective, where we used a dot to connect all these squares or rectangles to, or letters or whatever. All right, in this world there are 2 points, and these are called vanishing points, or VPs. Okay, they will help us to be able to draw the tops and bottoms of each of these three-dimensional boxes. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do all this. There's another E right here. Okay, so top, top, bottom, bottom, and then we're going to call these 2 right here, okay, the ends. Because if we didn't have these 2 ends, the box would go on and on and on forever until it disappeared. Then lastly, if any of you have ever been to the ocean, the edge of the ocean is always this perfectly straight line. Okay? And that line is called the horizon line. Okay? So think of this as the ocean and this is the sky. It's kind of where the sky meets the ground, or the water if you're at the beach. Okay? So, to get this thing started, you're going to need a ruler and a pencil. A lot of this will be done very, very lightly because you'll have to erase a lot of stuff, so please keep that in mind. First thing we're going to do is establish our little vanishing points. You're going to put one in the middle on this side, one in the middle on this side. Then you're going to take your ruler, you're going to go to the middle of the paper. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect middle. And what you're going to do is try and get this ruler as straight up and down as possible. I used the top edge of the paper as a guide, okay? Or you could use like the 6-inch marks right here as a guide for the bottom, whatever. And then I want you to draw a line that kind of is about this big. Now this line can be dark if you want it to be. All right. You want some space at the top, you want some space at the bottom. Then I want you to take your ruler and you're going to, this is now our edge line that you saw in this picture. You can take your ruler, you're going to line up the bottom of this line with the left vanishing point, and you're going to make a super, super light line going all the way to that dot. Just enough that you can see it. Then do the top the same way. And then you're going to do the same exact thing going to this vanishing point. So take your ruler, super light, super light. You push during this step, it's going to cause you a lot of problems later. So now I've connected the top and the bottom of my edge line all the way to these dots. These are now called guidelines, okay? And right now, if you thought of this in three-dimensional worlds, this is the world's biggest box or a gigantic building that just goes on and on and on forever until it disappears, okay? We got to make it end somewhere. So to make our end lines, okay, remember, end and end, you're going to take your ruler, and you can start on the right side if you want, and you are going to line it up with your edge line that you made first. You can see where mine is right there. Go to the other side of the ruler, keeping it steady with 2 fingers. Connect the top guideline to the bottom guideline. And voila! Now we have an end to our box. So now you don't need these lines anymore. That's why we draw them lightly, so that it's super easy just to swipe our eraser right over it and it's gone. Good enough for me. Can't see them anymore. I'm happy. Now, on the other side, I think I want to make this box a little bit longer on this side. Okay, so it's very important that you follow the parallel line step. You got to know what parallel lines are and how they work. So I'm going to line up my ruler on this side of the edge this time, over here to the left, and I'm going to slide my ruler over a little bit, keeping this edge of the ruler parallel with this line. And then I'm going to go to the other side of the ruler, connect my top guideline to my bottom guideline, and voila. This side of the box is bigger than that one. Okay? Then you can erase the guidelines that you no longer need. If you would like to take this moment to darken the tops and bottom lines of this box, you can, but you don't have to. As long as I can see the lines, you're going to get it right. Now, so this box is directly in front of us if we were standing in this picture. You can't see what's on top of it. You can't see what's underneath it. Okay? And that is because this line that goes across the paper that I was telling you about, the horizon line, okay, that is also our eye level. So if you're looking straight ahead, that's even with your eyes. So you will never see the top or bottom of anything that's on that horizon line. Okay, we haven't drawn it on here yet, and I don't want to yet. But it's there. Okay, it connects from one dot to the other. So this thing is sitting right along that line. We can't see it tops or bottoms. Now we're going to try one where we will be able to see the bottom of the box. So I want you to take your ruler and start with step 1 again. But this time I want you to put it over here. If you're looking at the top of my ruler, I want you to put a line, just a short line right about there. And while you're at it, make a short one down here. Okay? Then, just like we did here, I'm going to connect the top and bottom of that edge line that we made, super, super light, to both of the VPs. Ignore the fact that there might be anything in the way. Okay? And we'll see that in a second. If you're drawing light, it's not going to matter because we'll erase it super easy. You can see right now, the line I got to do goes right through that box, and that's okay. Nice and light. You can get rid of it later. Alright, so I've connected the top of the edge line and the bottom of the edge line. I've made these guidelines that I talked about. Okay, now we are going to make one side of the box. I showed you how to do it. Put your ruler against that line. Go to the other side of the ruler. Boom. Nice parallel line. Then you can do the same thing over here. Go to the other side of the ruler after you've lined it up. And voila. So we know that even though these two are the exact same width, that one looks longer. It's an illusion. So Now we have to do something else. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look at this corner right here. You're going to connect that corner to that dot, way over here. Just take your ruler, line it up, super light line, all the way over to there. You can see it, it's right there. Then, take your ruler, you're going to line it up with this corner right here, and draw a line going down. So, look at that. There's the bottom of the box. Because it's above our eye level, or that horizon line that I talked about, you're going to see the bottom of it. So you can darken your lines first or erase first. That's up to you. I'm going to darken my lines just because I like seeing them. Okay, so I've got all my lines darkened. I know what I no longer need, which is all these guidelines that are going all over to the vanishing point. So I'm going to get rid of those, being careful not to erase any parts of the other box that I've already done. And again, if you do this right, just a couple swipes of the eraser and those things are gone. But you got to train the hand not to push. All right. Clean and clear. There we go. So now I'm going to do this one. The steps are exactly the same. Start with connecting the top and bottom of the edge line to one of the vanishing points. I'm going to start here, super light. Then I'm going to go to the other one, way over here, super light. Ignoring the fact that I'm drawing through anything I already have finished. It's okay as long as I'm drawing light. Alright, you can see I've got my guidelines done. Take my ruler, line it up with the first line I did. Okay, you can see it right there. And go to one side, connect the top and bottom. And then go to the other side, connect top and bottom. And now I've got my edge line and I've got my two ends. Okay, then we'll do that crisscross thing that I did here. So this side right here, this intersection where these two lines meet, that's going to go that way. This one is going to go to the other dot. The only lines that will never go to the dots are these three. Okay, nice and light. There's my box. So this one is below our eye level, so you can see the top of it. Okay, think of it as seeing the top of your hand, okay, when you're looking down. And then if you move your hand up above your eyes, you can see your palm. It's the same thing. Okay, so if you want to darken your lines at this point, you can. I didn't do it because I prefer to erase and move along because you're probably getting sick of listening to my voice on this video. Erase what you don't need. Brush it off. Okay, so those two boxes are complete. And the last step for this, which I'm not going to do on the video because you've already done it here, I want you to go over to the other side of the paper and repeat the process. One line at the top, one line at the bottom, and then connect to the dots, and then establish the ends, and then establish the bottom and the top. The same way you did these. Exactly the same. Think about the steps you took. If you need to rewatch the video, go right ahead. Just draw lightly so you can erase easily.